Hello everybody, I'm back with a 5-day trip. This trip is the trip that I work on Christmas Day. I come back on Christmas Day, but I've been trying to finesse it, drop it, everything I can on Christmas Day to try to, drop the legs so I could just work the overnight back and I'll be back in Atlanta by 8. But I can't get it. I've had somebody that said they would take my trip, but then ended up canceling on me. But I'll talk about that later too, because that kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, and I'll explain why. I had somebody that wanted to give up their reserve days, but they were kind of picky on, they wanted the how they want to find a trip that came back, because most people give up their reserve days because they know they're not going to get called, so they want to make money. So that's why. But that happens, but it is what it is. It is one of those things. I'm not for sure how. I've been here for 5 years. January will make 6, and I can't hold Christmas off, even though I did bid for it off. And I still, like I said, all my trips have been ending after 3 o'clock, and I bid to not be off after 3 o'clock. I don't understand it. So it is what it is. So I'm gonna have to work it. But I did try to swap. I swapped my original trip with something else to try to figure, just try to finesse it to try to get back a little bit earlier. But I couldn't find anything to actually do it. But today is a 2-leg day. I did head to Louisville, then Louisville to Detroit, then Detroit back to Louisville. But I sit in Detroit for about 3 hours. And then I work a flight from Detroit back to Louisville tonight. So I end a little bit later. Other than that, shuttle's coming around. I'll see you guys once I get to Louisville, and hopefully nothing happens, and I'll explain everything about the whole person that supposed to take my trip. Hello everybody, I've made it here to Green Bay. Wasn't supposed to be here. I was supposed to go back to Louisville, but as we landed in Detroit, I got a notification that my schedule got modified. So I was supposed to have a 2-hour sit in Detroit, and then work a flight back to Louisville and end a lot later than I am now. So about 2-3 hours later, so I'm a little bit earlier. Now I do tomorrow, I just deadhead back to Detroit at, the flight leaves at like 2 something. Have I think it's a 3 or 2 hour sit in Detroit, and then come back to Green Bay, which is pick up my original schedule, unless anything changes tomorrow as well. So still, it was a pretty easy day. Everybody was pretty chilled. Nothing happened. So to go back to my earlier thing, when I said I had somebody that wanted to take my trip and how it rubbed me the wrong way. My last trip, when I was coming from LaGuardia to Cincinnati, that we had a jump seater that worked for the company. And her husband works as well in aviation, but on a private side. And she was saying that she wanted to pick up something over the Christmas break because her husband's not going to be there. So, I said, hey, I'm looking for somebody to take my schedule. And I showed her, said, even if you take a partial, I'll be okay with that, as long as you take, the Christmas part. So during that whole flight, she took my phone and looked at my schedule 4 different times. And on that 4th time, she said she'll take it. I wasn't pressuring her or anything like that. Then I submitted it. She accepted it. As far as she didn't. Let me take that back. She did not accept it. I submitted it while we was on the plane. And when I got to the hotel, I went to check to see, the status of it, see if they approved it or not. She canceled it right after we deplaned, because it's time stamped, and you can tell when somebody does that. Now, the reason why it rubbed me the wrong way is, like, she could have just said no. It wouldn't have bothered me whatsoever. I've been like, okay, cool, you don't want to do it. But it bothered me because, like, what if I had called my kids and like, hey, y'all gonna see daddy on Christmas, whatever. And now I got to call back again, which I didn't tell them that. So that's a good thing. I didn't call back to call them and tell them that. But that's how I was thinking it from that standpoint. But my thing is this: if you don't want to do it, just tell me no. Just tell me no. It's not going to bother me. I'm not going to get upset. But don't say, yeah, I'm going to accept it, and then pretty much kind of like lied to my face because you immediately declined it after we, deplaned and everything like that. That's what bothered me about it. But you know, how I look at it is what it is. I'm still trying to finesse it to try to get back a little bit early on Christmas. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 2. Everybody, welcome to day 2 of this 5-day trip, Christmas trip, I would say. I've been trying to finesse my schedule on my last day, but haven't been too successful of getting that last turn a little bit earlier because there's nothing in open time right now to swap it out with. But it is what it is. It's an easier leg that I've done that I added to myself, and even the first 3 days of this trip is super easy because I deadhead today, sit in Detroit for 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is, come right back here to Green Bay. Tomorrow, deadhead in the morning to Detroit, sit for 3 hours, and then go to Knoxville. So it's only really one working leg that I have. So it's not a hard trip. So I'm hoping that something happens in between that sit and I get modified and it kind of works out to my favor. That's what I'm hoping happens. But we're going to see. I'm finna get ready to go downstairs to catch this shuttle, and I'll see you guys once I come back here to Green Bay. If anything changes, I'll make sure I update you. Everybody made it here back to Green Bay. Sat in Detroit for almost 4 hours because we got to Detroit a little bit earlier. So I started watching TV on my phone with my cable company through the app or whatever, watching things that I've been missing. And I can hear singing over, the noise in my headphones. But I'm thinking it's like people, you know how in airports they play pianos and stuff like that. So I heard people singing it. It didn't sound too bad until it got time for me to come to my flight. And I was like, who the world is singing No Cheap Thrills like that? I don't need no and they had a little karaoke thing to try to donate money for needy kids and things like that. So they were doing karaoke. So people who had a little bit of layovers doing karaoke and things of that nature in Detroit today. But other than that, the flight's been very uneventful. Tomorrow's the same thing. I do deadhead in the morning, well, in the afternoon. And then I have one flight, sit for 3.5 hours, then one flight to Knoxville tomorrow. So pretty easy. Not too hard. I've been, like I said, been trying to finesse, but it's not gonna happen. I'm not getting back any earlier on Christmas. So either way, I'm gonna go work out. I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 3. Hello everybody, it's day 3. Slept really well last night. Worked out last night as well. The treadmill here doesn't work, so I did the bike. I don't have too much experience on the bike as far as does it do the same as much. I know you got to do double because I think I rode the bike for about 4 miles, equivalent to like 12 minutes on the bike. So I never really used the bike as far as working out. I haven't even ridden a bike in so long, since I was a teenager, possibly since I've ridden a bike. But the stationary bike, I haven't done that workout since college. I took a PE class in college for not an extracurricular, but one of my prerequisite class that you had to have some type of PE class back then. Don't ask why. So, but I did that during summer. Today, easy leg, go to Detroit. Well, they head to Detroit, sit for 3.5 hours, and then I do one leg to Knoxville. Super simple, easy trip. Then tomorrow I have 4 legs, but they're short legs, so they're not really super long legs back in Atlanta. So I'm making my way back down to Atlanta. So a girl that I was trying to take her reserve days for this trip that I had, she wanted to, be done on Christmas by 2:45ish or whatever like that, which that's impossible to have. So she messaged me on Facebook and was like, I wish I would have taken your trip because she could have made more credit hour because she didn't use her first day on the 21st, but they gave her a trip on the 22nd. And she would have made more credit hour had she took my trip because now her trip that they gave her ends the same exact day on the 25th at the same exact time as my trip. She could have made more credit hour. But, it is what it is. I told her it's okay, it's cool, I understand, because I would have done the same thing, wanted to get off a little bit earlier on Christmas. So I get it, I understand. I said, if I offer a trip and you want to take it, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. I'm going to get ready to go downstairs, and I'll see you guys once I get to Knoxville tonight if they don't change me in Detroit. Hello everybody, I've made it here to Knoxville. Today's flights were very uneventful. During my 3.5 hour sit, I just edited a video that's supposed to be coming out Tuesday because Christmas is going to be Christmas on 25th. So I just kind of started doing that to where I don't have that much editing to do later on. Also, I want to explain why I said she would have made more money if she would have took my trip earlier. So reserve days only were 4 hours. If she would have swapped with me, she basically, because 4 hours, so that's 5, that's 20 hours. And pretty much had she swapped with me, now her trip, once you get a trip, you get whatever that trip is worth for that particular time. You don't get the 4 hours on top of whatever that trip is worth for that day. So that's how she kind of, in a sense, lose money, but you don't, because she hasn't went over the 75 threshold, because we're guaranteed 75 hours for the month. My trip was worth 23, which it would have been rounded up to 25, because in our contract that we recently signed, it says that 5-day trips that are less than 25 hours, basically all our 5-day trips get rounded up to 25 hours. So she would have got 25 hours plus Christmas Day is worth 5.5 hours. So add time and a half to that, which is 150%, she would have made more money. But I wanted to clear the air on why I said she would have made more money had she took my trip. That is why I said that. Plus the per diem and everything else like that. With me, I wouldn't have necessarily, I would have kind of broke even, I should say. I would have probably broke even as far as when it comes down to losing the credit hours and taking her trip. I mean, her reserve days. But it is what it is. I'm not working out tonight because this gym is really, really small. I'm probably try to get up. No, I ain't gonna get up early in the morning because we got a 7:51 van. I might get up to do workout. But other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow for day. Happy Christmas Eve, everyone. Today is a 4-leg day, but they're short legs and they're no service for me because I'm gonna be working in the back. I go from Knoxville to Atlanta, sit in Atlanta for 2 hours, and then it's Atlanta to Asheville, North Carolina back, and then I come back to Knoxville tonight. And I end about 6 o'clock on Christmas Eve, and then tomorrow's another early report. So today should be pretty easy again for me. And hopefully maybe they do change me during this sit and then it works out in my favor. But other than that, I'm finna get ready to go downstairs and try to see what they have here for breakfast. And I'll see you guys again once I get back here to Knoxville. Everybody, I made it here to Knoxville. Today was a pack your patient type day because we started off, we were delayed because we lost our captain. Captain called in fatigue or something like that. So they swapped another captain onto this flight. And we were originally wasn't supposed to leave until maybe 30 minutes later, but we still ended up leaving on time. Then when I had my 2.5 hour sit in Atlanta when we were going to Asheville, our pilots for Asheville were late coming in from Jackson, Mississippi. So we were running behind on that flight. Then when we get to Asheville, the hard stand wasn't working. They had to go borrow another one, and people were just taking their sweet time getting off the plane. Then when we're boarding for Asheville to come back to Atlanta, we told them, hey, listen, this is smaller bins. Because it's a 700, you need to pink tag bags. They didn't do it. And we had a whole bunch of people that needed to pink tag their bags, which further caused us to be delayed even more. And I was late getting to my flight here, coming to Knoxville, but we still ended up closing with a minute to spare because we had a SAFA boarding for us. But people were flying, people were losing things that were in the seat pack pocket, couldn't find their phones, and kids just, doing everything what kids do. So it was a pack your patience type day. But other than that, I'm going to work out. Gotta get out some of this energy, and I'm gonna come back. They have food for us downstairs, and I'm gonna eat, and I'm getting ready to go to bed because we have a 5:30 van. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for Go Home Day. Merry Christmas, everybody. Today is Christmas. It's Go Home Day. We're excited. I was just on FaceTime looking at the kids open up their presents. It's not the same as being there, physically, but again, you got to do what you got to do and work with what you have to work with in order to, make that experience memorable or whatever. So But other than that, what is it? It's a 5 leg day. Knoxville to Atlanta, Atlanta to Chattanooga, sit, then Atlanta to back to Atlanta, then Chattanooga back to Atlanta again. So I'll do 2 Chattanooga turns, and I'm done about 4:30-ish today. But, other than that, hopefully everybody had a wonderful Christmas time. If you're feeling sad or down around this time, I understand it's not easy, especially if you have to work on Christmas or you're away from your family on Christmas. I understand. I totally understand the feeling. I do understand the feeling. Reach out to somebody if you're having issues or feeling any way of, with thought or anything like that. Especially, like, it's wonderful that a lot of these crew members who are off on Christmas are offering, like, other crew members to come to their home for Christmas if they want to, they have a layover on Christmas and they just want to be around some people, nice people, that are people out there that are doing that, and that is a very good gesture. But, reach out to a support system or something if you're having a difficult time during this holiday season. So I'm finna get ready to go downstairs. I'll see you guys once I get back home to close out the video.